Let's get started.
J.C. Sherbert. Woo! 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 Woo!
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
The electricity here in Columbia, well, has been buzzing loudly all weekend.
Passion of the crowd in Williams-Brice Stadium is second to none.
And the rave breaks out in Columbia.
It is good!
Gamecock fans, welcome home.
See how it goes, but we'll be ready to go.
It's time to root.
Let's go, Carolina!
It's gone! Touchdown! What a hit! He baked it in! Can you believe it? Gamecocks have won this game!
Here are your hosts, J.C. Sherbert.
Watch him celebrate now!
Phil Molinex.
My wife doesn't like hanging around losers.
And Jamie Bradford.
I'm going to tell him, you look like you joined Duck Dynasty.
All right, greetings and good Friday morning. Welcome aboard and welcome home inside the Gamecocks, the show live from the Signorama Studios, the preferred sign partner of Gamecock Athletics, and of course built by the Barn Dominium Co. The BarnDominiumCo.com, or as they call themselves and many others call them, the Barndo Co. They build the best homes you've probably ever seen in your entire life, and that is why they are one of the United States' top builders. It's official by multiple outlets, and it's on their website as well, the barndominiumco.com. JC, JB, and Phil here until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And Fridays are generally fun anyways because it's Friday. But today it's going to be especially fun for a lot of reasons. Number one, a lot of you are now getting what you've been craving, which is good news on the Gamecock football recruiting front. From commitments to crystal balls, JC will fill us in on that here in just a moment. We will also, of course, be joined by Stuart Lake as South Carolina looks to get off of a 4-game skid at Arkansas tonight, where they are trying to get their 15th win of the season in the SEC. Their 37th overall. The Razorbacks and the Gamecocks will come into the series with identical records, by the way. In addition to all of that, in case you haven't been paying attention, and I know a lot of people haven't, how about Gamecock softball? Last night, another statement win, and today, Donnie Goborn, the stud freshman pitcher, named All-SEC first team as well, and you might see her again later on this afternoon as they've got Auburn in the semifinals. South Carolina just one of 2 double-digit seeds in the history of the league to get to the semifinals in the women's softball tournament. So hats off to those ladies who are pretty certainly looking at a postseason bid, and maybe they're getting hot at the right time to do some damage when they get in there. And if that's not enough for all of you, we'll be joined at the top of the 12 o'clock hour by everybody's favorite, Mr. Patrick Davis. And JC, I think yesterday in our text, we were exchanging how to kind of structure things on our program today, and he said the word honor because Patrick just released today the first single on his new album that's forthcoming called Carolina When I Die. And I'll tell him this too in front of all of you, like I've told him privately to his face. That song is unbelievable, and no offense to all these other jams because they are all jams. That one is my favorite. But Six String Dreams is a really, really unique tune, and you'll get to hear it in its entirety at the top of the noon hour, and then PD will jump in and join us and tell us all about the song and the album, and he will talk plenty of Gamecocks. He's got a lot to say. But JC pointed out in our text message yesterday that that it was an honor to have him on because he chose us to be on and kind of help debut this thing as it released at midnight last night, wherever you download your music. So if you're a Patrick Davis fan, and I hope you all are, make sure that you've downloaded Six String Dreams. It is a back porch sitting and sipping type song, and it is really, really neat. He'll tell you the backstory on that in just a little while. So we'll keep him around as long as he wants to stay with us. Hopefully it's for a while, and we're going to have some fun. So with all of that said, first of all, good morning to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Friday. We hope you're kicking off a wonderful weekend. Most importantly, before I turn this thing over to Classic Phil and JC, happy Mother's Day weekend to all of the amazing, amazing moms in the world, Gamecock moms and others. You all deserve the best of the best of the best. I think every day should technically be Mother's Day. In our home, we don't celebrate Mother's Day on Mother's Day. We try to spend the whole weekend celebrating Mom because she's the backbone around here. And so from our families to yours, please give all of your moms and wives and everybody who is a mom in your life a big hug from Inside the Gamecocks, the show. We appreciate all of them. They're the best, and it's one of the great, great weekends in America every year. So, JC, Classic Phil, how are you?
Doing well. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Phil. I meant Crystal Ball Master, JC.
Indeed. Indeed.
I like Lost Member of the Electric Mayhem better.
You like that?
I was going through. I was like, my taglines here get a little stale, so I started to go through like cartoon characters and to try to figure out like what's the most obscure. Like I went through the Muppets, Disney. I mean, Looney Tunes, Dr. Teeth. So I may throw a Dr. Teeth up there or
Big fan of
something
Dr.
like
Teeth.
that, something similar. I've kind of supposed to be a surprise, so I probably won't use Dr. Teeth now. But there's a lot of a lot of stuff there. By the way, I apologize for my bedhead and staring at my phone. The first little bit during the intro. It's been a busy morning on a lot of fronts. If you've looked at thebigspur.com, you've noticed that for me. Just gathering intel on these guys, and then had some NIL stuff I had to take care of this morning, and carpool and everything else. So yours truly is, and it's supposed to rain all weekend here. So after I get off here, I'm going to a place called Menards, which is just like Home Depot. They got a real catchy tune. Get great stuff at Menards. I'm getting some kind of umbrella or something for the back porch. I'm cranking up Patrick Davis's music. It's going to be beer 30 until the Gamecocks throw the first pitch tonight. Hopefully I'm happy. But it's been one of those daggum mornings for me. So just kind of a lot of stuff. You get up, you're refreshed, you're ready to roll, then things start just hitting you in the face. It's like I feel like a no-armed man at a flapjack throwing contest, getting hit with syrup and butter and blueberry topping and cinnamon and whatever the hell else you want. So anyway, just one of those mornings, but certainly glad to be here and really fired up about Patrick. Marion on Julian Phillips. This is one of those things I did not get to yesterday from the chat box, but I don't think they're going to pursue him. The SEC has that rule. You have to sit if you go inside the conference. They'd have to get a waiver. They already gave him a waiver one time to get to Tennessee. So I would, from what I've been told, that's kind of a long shot. And that the Gamecocks probably aren't going to go down that road. I haven't been told absolutely no on that, but it didn't sound. And see, I heard he was leaving Tennessee 2 or 3 weeks ago from a guy I know that's pretty connected in Knoxville. So I'd been asking around about that. It's just it's not something that, I'd love it if that was the case, because I think he's a really good offensive player and he probably could help the team, I would guess, but I don't foresee that happening as things stand today. I'm gonna leave myself an out on that, like I do with everything else, but I don't see it happening today with Julian Phillips. And I watched my first Gamecock softball game in my life, other than walking by when they used to play at Beckham Field next to the Sarge when I was like on campus back in 2000. Just kind of saw them over there knocking it around. Exciting game.
Yeah, man, they're getting hot.
Proud of that team. Yeah, proud of that team. I mean, because they were left for dead after last year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Getting hot at the right time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and they have had a good year. I mean, you got to remember the SEC. If you're like 9th in the SEC, that means you're pretty much like 10th in the country in softball. I mean, it's such a good league. I do see I didn't even realize I said freshman. I meant to say 5th year, but I'm not sure why I said that. So yeah, I thank y'all for correcting me there. She is not a freshman. She is a 5th year transfer. But freshman 5th year, I guess that would be where I stumbled. I'm not exactly sure, not to make excuses, but yeah. So when I was at Carolina, we actually got to know a lot of the softball girls well, because Mike Sisko's wife now was Carolina's left fielder / center fielder for a while. So we got to know a lot of her friends and this, that, and the other, and they've struggled for a while, but certainly looks like Coach Smith's got them going. So they will play today at 5 p.m.
Cool.
I don't know.
And
I think
they're in the game. I mean, they're probably going to the tournament. So
no, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. That's right. 4 o'clock. 3 o'clock Central. 4 o'clock on ESPN 2. On ESPN 2, and they've got a crack at Auburn today. So now they 36-19 are the Gamecocks. So yeah, you're right, Jamie. We do wish. There's no doubt. Hi, Vanessa. Happy Mother's Day to you if you're a mother. I see her giving us a round of applause, so I'm kind of assuming she is here. We are glad that you're spending some of your Mother's Day weekend with us, and hopefully Gamecock baseball and Gamecock softball can give you some additional nuggets this weekend to celebrate in addition to yourself as a mom. On top of that, though, Gamecock football seems to be well on their way to doing it. Yesterday, Jatias Gear, the defensive end, as JC has mentioned multiple times over the last couple of weeks, we have anticipated this young man joining South Carolina's football program, and it is now official. He has, as a transfer, Braden Davis is transferring to Syracuse as a quarterback. So if the trade market ever enters college football, it's kind of started a little sooner, I guess, unofficially. But so Gears in, JC. Now we're waiting on word from the running back situation. So to summarize all this, I know we've only got about 4 minutes, and we got to hit a break to get to Coach Lake and get into some baseball. But you've got walk us through the Gear commitment. We've got a big official visit going on down in Louisiana this weekend. You also, to talk running backs, have a new crystal ball in for a potential future running back.
Yeah, he traded Braden Davis to Syracuse for Gear and a player to be named later, maybe, it's kind of crazy how that works. But this was expected. And when he went in the portal, I followed up with some contacts, and what I was told was, look, South Carolina's probably getting him. He just kind of he wants to handle it himself, which a lot of older guys do, especially portal guys that are they make different types of decisions than high school guys. But he's from Belton Honey and Path High School in Anderson County, up in the upstate. He was a kid that
Talmadge Leroy.
Yeah, Talmadge Leroy's from up there too. When he came out, it was that 2020, I think the 2021 class where there's no in-person evaluation. It's COVID. There was a coaching change. I think Tracy Rocker maybe looked at his film once or went by the school. When this kid came out, he was about 6'5", 220, which is, for an end, that kind of frame is useful. I liked his film. I had a friend at Syracuse at the time. He's at another school now, but he kind of, when this kid was a junior, I put him on him. I was like, well, I don't know if Clemson and South Carolina will offer this guy or not, because when he was a junior, he's like 190. So he's filled out. Looks sort of like Philip Merling that used to play for Clemson, if I'm going to have a player comparison. He's kind of like that 6'5", 260-ish, big, thicker, long-armed, like tall but thicker kind of defensive end. So I really like him, and he really came on for Syracuse last year. 6.5 tackles for loss. I think he started the last 11 games of the season. Hughes was not bad on defense. If you watch the Clemson-Syracuse game this past season, you see that they're probably a little better on defense than offense at times. We always think of Syracuse as, they can't stop anybody, but they were actually better on defense this year. He was a big part of it. So coming back, getting back home from a place that's ice cold, that's probably a positive for him. Clemson obviously doesn't look at transfers or whatever. So it was South Carolina, and he's happy to be here, and that's a big pickup. So running back wise, you're waiting on Diggs at LSU and see how that visit goes this weekend. I have an insider breakdown on the Big Spur about that. Nothing really earth-shattering other than a few tidbits that I picked up. And then I did put in a crystal ball for 4-star Daniel Hill from Meridian, Mississippi. And Tony and Hale had put one in earlier, so this is not earth-shattering. But, just kind of collecting some info and stuff on him yesterday along with Diggs. I felt comfortable doing that at about a 5 out of 10. A lot of other schools are involved with him, Alabama, Tennessee. It would be a hell of a recruiting win if the Gamecocks get him, but the Gamecocks are right there. And I think they get the last official visit too. So of the summer for him. And, he is a outstanding running back prospect. So, we'll see what happens.
What's Sharko's timeline?
I don't have any info on him right now. Okay. I've got, he got a Colorado visit, and all eyes sort of are on Diggs, I guess. And so I think I'll dig up some Charco things after Diggs goes to LSU. But I don't know. That
You
one.
said if Diggs goes to LSU.
Yeah, I had
I
a.
thought you said
You
after.
know,
I was like, wait a second, JC. Come on.
he had a good visit, but Colorado's involved, and he's from New Jersey, so I don't know. I broke him down the other day, but I just think that I think right now all eyes are on that visit to Baton Rouge, and I'll just tell the audience now that South Carolina's been in contact with Diggs all week, constant contact. The feedback's been great. So somebody asked me heading into the visit if, like, let's say LSU fell into the water, and it's not going to, but part of Louisiana may one day. But Baton Rouge is safe. But if it did, and there was no more LSU, I'd pick the Gamecocks right now. But that's not going to, he's still going to go through the visit, and as we know, things progress. So we'll see.
Well, pretty good news. To summarize, at least to lead off Friday for all of the wonderful moms who will be celebrating Mother's Day weekend wherever you are. It is 11:19. Is Coach Lake in there? He is. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and hit a quick timeout. And when we return, we'll turn the page and we'll turn it all the way over to Baum Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where tonight the Razorbacks will welcome the Gamecocks in a top 10 SEC baseball matchup. Hang tight. Inside the Gamecocks, the show powered by Electric Bikes of Charleston. We'll be right back. Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Just as your State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home, auto, life, or small business insurance with Tony Pope State Farm Insurance today. And guess what you'll get? That's right, even more good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, Tony Pope State Farm is your go-to agent anywhere in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home, life, auto, and or small business insurance today. Tony Pope State Farm has been in business for more than 30 years and can handle anything you need in the tri-state area. Once again, Tony Pope State Farm will help you mix and match perfectly. Call 843-851-2222 or visit TonyPope.com today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The real estate market has changed dramatically from just a year ago. Rates, supply, demand, all of your traditional factors are in a transition phase. That's why if you or someone you know are considering making a move in the low country, contact me, JB, at Coast to Coast Realty. I work with an outstanding support cast of attorneys, lenders, inspectors, insurance agents, and more, all of whom are valuable in helping find a way for you to comfortably make your real estate decision. That's right. Call me, JB, your low country real estate broadcaster. Building your dream home is often just that, a dream, and sometimes a nightmare. But at the Barndo Company, they commit to quality and build without sacrifice. Customization, open floor plans, limitless flooring options, maintenance-free and easy installation perks, and affordability are just a few reasons why they've been named one of the best builders in the U.S. Believe in your dreams. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com. The Barndo Company, Gamecock owned, Gamecock operated.
Traveling to cheer on the Gamecocks? Reserve your hotel stay with Fan Plans. Your booking supports Inside the Gamecocks and the Big Spur, plus you still earn your hotel loyalty points. Visit fanplans.com/Inside the Gamecocks.
What's up, Gamecock Nation? This is Jakar Moore from the DMV, and you are listening to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, presented to you by Express Sunrooms in Columbia. And, of course, the first hour of the show is brought to you by Cindy Searfoss and the Coldwell Banker Kane Realty team here in the upstate. 864-414-5271 is how to get in touch with Cindy for all your upstate residential real estate needs. And we're joined now, as always, on Friday on the McKellar Enterprises guest line by none other than Coach Stuart Lake. Coach, how are we doing this week?
Without the hat.
Yeah, well, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I got blamed last week for, maybe jinxes. So when I had my Louis C.K. look going, I think we're undefeated. So not that I'm superstitious, but I don't want to be the one that he's screwing this whole thing up. So I'm going back.
Wait, look, man.
We blame this on everything from JC to the exam week starting this slide here. Coach, so yeah, don't they? Yeah.
And now it's on Coach Lake's hat. Yeah, JC said yesterday it was his fault because when he came to town prior to the Auburn series for the Carolina Rise events in Columbia and down here in Charleston, he felt like he jinxed him. So he said, it's my fault. I'm going to fall on the sword. And I was like, man, you're a better man than me because it ain't my fault. I'm gonna go back to the old Mike Cisco line from when we were in college. Deny.
I not only was there, I met Whittle at Founders Park, and the guys I think were just getting. I saw Will Sanders walking in too, shook his hand.
So it was your fault.
Practice. Yeah, it definitely was my fault.
You touched it.
I can't see it any other way.
Jesus.
Things were hunky dory. They were great, and then the whole staff and Mahoney and Petrie come to the event, right? So I was just it's my fault. So anyway,
No, I think it's pretty clear, JC. It really is your fault. So that makes
it is. I'm blaming myself. I'm kicking myself. I'm burning incense and I'm sacrificing a whole chicken later. And drinking Jabu's rum like in Major League, and praying to 15 different religious entities before tonight's first pitch, and to cleanse myself of this this curse I brought onto the team.
Yeah, somebody's got to take the fall. So just pass that along to Coach King and Coach Tanner for us, Coach Lake, and make sure we hold him accountable. I'd love you to get a phone call from Ray Tay a little later on. Let me know how that goes.
I'll text Coach Tanner now to kind of ease the burden in a little bit.
Man, I figured it out, Coach. It has nothing to do with injuries or not throwing strikes or anything like that. This dude just showed up and shook the hand of Will Sanders.
Yep.
Well,
shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, so he's not going to start tonight. And I did. Whittle passed along the little nugget. I had never noticed this. I guess I never had a reason to notice it, but Arkansas generally never releases a full rotation. So most coaches are like, okay, well, we won't do that either. Although Coach King did announce a bookend with Becker on Sunday, and then Eli's going to get the ball tonight. Coach, I kind of thought this might be coming. No disrespect at all towards Will Sanders or Jack Mahoney or anything like that. But, it just felt like the right time to maybe try to do something a little bit different. Eli has pitched on Friday night already this year at Mississippi State. I actually thought he threw very well. This young man, and he's going to get the ball tonight, and it seems like it's on his shoulders to try and at least slow down, if not stop the bleeding for Gamecock baseball. So as he's presented with this opportunity, what do you expect to see out of this young man?
I think we're going to see what we saw, as you said, at Mississippi State, and I feel like every time we've seen him on the mound, he gives you an opportunity, if you play defense behind him, to have some clean innings. He's a strike thrower. He's a guy that can throw the breaking ball far strike, which I think is going to be important. But, I looked through the Arkansas. I don't really look at the opposing team as much as we look at ourselves. And sitting down yesterday, look at Arkansas. It's amazing. They're 17-7. So, they're tied with Vanderbilt, top of this league. They're at the top of no categories. As you go through their offense and pitching, now they're never at the bottom. They're always kind of right there in the middle from that 5 to 7. I even looked through today. I think the two things that jumped out, they're last in doubles. So I think it kind of what that shows you a little bit. I don't think they're going to be a team that's going to challenge you on the bases. But the one that did jump out at me pitching-wise, they lead the league in the number of saves. So what that tells us too, as much as we sit here and talk starting pitching, I think the biggest thing Arkansas does so well is their bullpen. So I don't think they get hung up on their starting pitching maybe as much as they rely on their bullpen, and that really a lot of times if you go and look from the 5th and 6th inning on, their bullpen's involved in the game.
Yeah, they're going to start Hagen Smith tonight. He is replacing Hunter Holland, who had been starting on Friday nights. But, I mean, Coach, I think I had dug deep enough to understand they've started 3 or 4 guys on Friday nights so far this year. Hagen did have a great start last weekend. Arkansas, for what it's worth, folks, to your point, Coach, it's 17-7. They have swept their last 2 series, and that's how they've gotten there. Prior to that, they were just at 11-7. Not that that's a bad record in the SEC. It's actually wonderful. But the last couple of weekends, they've been pretty hot. And so Hagen Smith is going to get the ball again after his start last weekend. I'm trying to remind myself, I don't know if I've seen him pitch. You've seen him pitch, right?
Yeah, seen just video of it. I mean, the biggest thing that I just really see, I keep following. Obviously, Charles Bloom is from here out at the SEC tournament with softball. So I keep kind of looking at the weather because it's also going to be some crazy weather all weekend out there. So it's really might be, again, and you think back to the LSU series, on a starter may only get so much because the game, according to them, is going to start on time, but it's going to be thunderstorms coming through the whole area. I don't have a great detailed scouting report on him, but again, I just don't think they're so much about their starting pitching as they are as trying to be a complete team is what we're going to see a lot as we get to see Arkansas.
So, well, that brings – you mentioned the softball team. With the unfortunate news of Eli and with Will being out this weekend, any chance that Donnie Goburn maybe could get some innings for Gamecock baseball?
No kidding. I tell you what, just it's been fun to watch, and I heard JC saying it too, and I feel bad. I haven't watched a ton of softball over the years, but I've kind of gotten caught up in this team, and she's been a big reason why. I mean, it's been fun to watch when you're trying to – what's the equivalent of a 75 to 77? What is that coming out to in baseball?
I think it's like 105 or something. I'm pretty sure it's like plus 30 miles an hour or somewhere in there.
And then your next pitch is a changeup. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see why most of the games are 2-1 or 1-0. I mean, it's been kind of special to watch. I don't know what role she'll be in today. If you get to come back 3 straight days, I guess you can. In softball, they tend to do it. And, it's kind of been fun to catch up and do. I got home my son's playoff game last night, and my wife actually laughed. Like, are you kidding me? We're rushing home to watch the end of the softball game. I said, I've got caught up in it. I want to watch it. So it'll be fun to see how, as the season ends up with them.
How'd your boys do last night in the playoffs?
They did well. So Mid Carolina, that's the upper state here in 2A. So they beat Pillion 10-0. So they now match up with Gray Collegiate tomorrow night in the undefeated game. So at home. So it'll be fun.
Everybody wants to beat Gray Collegiate and Oceanside and everybody else for a multitude of reasons. We won't get into all of those now, but they have the target on their back, no doubt. Yeah. All right, Coach. Sent you a text the other day about Cole Messina, just kind of making conversation. The fact that there's a good chance we'll see him behind the plate a lot more this weekend. Assess that for us and what it means to a pitching staff to have the guy that they trust back there.
Well, I was actually doing the TV game when Cole had a move to third. And I remember saying, because Lee Croy had pulled, I don't think it was Lee Croy, it was when Wimmer got hurt and Braswell had to go to short. Mm-hmm. I just saw such a good rhythm going, So you got the earpiece in. So you got Coach Parker saying to Cole, fastball away. Well, and the pitcher's looking at his watch, but they can still shake. So when they shake, then it falls back on the catcher to put the next sign. That's the quickest way of getting it. So you never really saw a loss of rhythm. So because of that, just, all right, if he went fastball away and he don't, I'm going to go slider or change up. And the pitcher seemed to always say yes, and they went. And I thought it was really big at that time, and I think it's proven to be. That's nothing against anyone else catching, but he kind of had the rhythm of those guys. And, it just seemed like since then it kind of you didn't have that kind of quickness going. I know we're still keeping the pitch clock, and we didn't have any issues with that, but I just think it's a really big deal. to get him back there and just get that comfort. And there's something cool too when that catcher's back there pumping his fist to you and the things he's saying to you when he's taking visits without Coach Parker coming out. A catcher's pretty special. I've told y'all before, it's the only place on the field where everybody looks at you. And they don't look at you at third base or right field or wherever. They're looking at you as a catcher, and I think it's going to be important he's back there.
Well, I totally agree with that, and in no way, shape, or form are any of these words meant to guarantee some type of victory or great performance by a pitcher or anything like that. It's strictly just talking baseball here, and I think, I always try to rely. I tell the stories. It sounds like it's talking about myself, but it's really about the guy that taught me when I first started catching, Johnny Cribb, who you know very well.
I know very well.
The best catching coach I've ever been around because he didn't put up with any crap, and you either did it or you didn't play. But I'll never forget being a kid, and he looked at me and he said, "You want to be good?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Make sure that those guys on the rubber trust you more than they trust themselves." And I never forgot that. And then when you watch the great catchers, Coach, and I'm just going to name Carolina guys here for the sake of this conversation, but Landon Powell, Trent Klein, Kyle Enders, Brady Thomas when he was back. And we could keep going, Grayson Griner and so on and so forth. Anybody that was on the mound that threw to those guys, it was almost like if they shook them off, Landon was going to call time and walk out and go, "Why are you shaking me off?" And it was like, okay, well, I won't do that again. There is something that clicks mentally in a battery when you've got a guy back there that you can trust more than yourself, and you've been around this at this level your whole life. If you could take that conversation a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I grew up. I started catching in high school, and I don't really know where I heard it, but I heard a catching guy say one time, every battery has a positive and a negative, and you're called the positive. You're the battery. So there were days as a catcher, you knew that guy on the mound needed you to be positive. Yeah. And there were days you knew you needed to be a turd and go out and do things. And that's where the Landon Powells and those type guys are so good. You didn't have to tell them. You didn't have to say, "Hey, Landon, today you're the positive, he's the negative." They knew, And Hunter Taylor a few years ago when we made our run in 18, he was a guy that you could tell on certain days he was going to the mound going, "Hey, man, we got you. Just throw strikes." He knew the difference between that guy's personality and the other guy. There were days you're going, "Oh, crap, what's he going out there to say?" And that's what I feel that Cole Messina does so much for this team. This is a team, a lot of people have grabbed me this week and said, "What's wrong?" I don't really think anything's wrong. You're getting some guys back, which I think are going to bring energy back. McGillis is a guy that if he can get back and is close to what he was, that's a big part of your lineup. He had 10 home runs, and he only got to play 4 conference games. So he's been out a while. You get LeCroy back, who ran well. I thought he looked normal against North Florida the other day, just kind of trying to pay attention to him, when it wasn't, quote, on camera, just moving around. Get those guys back. Now, the big one that's missing is Wimmer, because Wimmer had brought you so much range at shortstop. I love what Brassfield's doing. You got to keep him somewhere in the lineup. He has earned the right to be in there somewhere, but he does not have the range of Wimmer. I think we all know that, or that ability to maybe go get a fly ball in the shallow left field where center fielder doesn't feel like he's got to come in. So there's things you want to get back. But this weekend, man, we went out there in 18, and I remember they had the pitcher of the year, forget his name, and we won on Thursday night. And it changed the rest of how we felt about the rest of that year. We ended up being there for Super Regional, as y'all remember, and won a game. Yeah. And there's no question when they're good, there's nowhere harder in the league to play than Arkansas. You never can breathe there. You step out of the dugout and someone's yelling at you. And from 6 years old to 86 years old, they're constantly on you. It is the hardest place in the league. When Mississippi State is good, they're neck and neck. But Arkansas, it's always been. And then for Gamecocks, it's so much travel. They chartered yesterday, but it's never an easy trip to get to Fayetteville. if y'all ever been there, the airport, you still feel like you're an hour away from the hotel when you get there. Right. And you drive through the country to get to your hotel. And it's a hard trip. So, but there's no better place to come together as a team either than this environment this weekend.
Gosh, who gave me the backstory on this a few years ago? I saw yesterday that you mentioned the trip, so they were getting on the Dale Earnhardt Jr. plane. I want to say it was Coach Tanner that was telling me this story, but I can't really remember. How did that plane get into the hands of Carolina? Do you know?
I don't know. I know when we first started going there was no charter, so we were just taking old Northwest Airlines or someone in there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And, so it's improved in that sense. But yesterday was a tough day. I was texting with Billy Anderson, their strength coach. I mean, you're flying into those storms yesterday. Yeah. So they kind of had to take their time and change a little bit of a flight time from when they could get through them. And again, it's just one of those places that it's super cool to go there and get to play. And I played there a bunch with South Carolina and Ole Miss. And then every year it gets better. They add something to that stadium. It's unbelievable. Now it looks like a AA or AAA stadium when you go in there.
It's better than some of the big league ballparks. I don't know, like Tampa, Oakland.
It's nicer than Tampa and Oakland. I've been to the football stadium. One time I went to Arkansas. I was working for ESPN, and I got assigned a game in Little Rock. It's the only time I was on TV for them when I covered recruiting for those guys. It's 2009. So I flew into Branson, Missouri.
Oh.
And drove from Branson to Little Rock. That's quite an interesting drive. If you've ever been to the nether regions of Arkansas, going through those little towns, it's the Ozarks, right? You've seen Ozark. Carolina lost. Carolina lost. I think Whittle and I went to the Catfish Hole after, which is always delicious. And then I had to drive back to Branson. My flight was the next morning out. I forgot to gas up my rental car, and I'm going through like this federal state park forest for an hour. And all I'm hearing is the banjos, right, from Deliverance. And I was like, please, sweet baby Jesus, don't let me run out of gas. And I'm listening to the Clemson-Florida State football game, and Florida State's winning for a while. And so I'm, of course, kind of pulling for them. And then Clemson they just started this massive comeback. And my gas gauge is getting lower and lower and lower. I finally found a place to pull off. They only took cash. I happened to have $5 stuck in the rental car, made it back to Branson. But that's my one trip to Arkansas story. But I did like it. I do think it's a unique place. And I would like to see a baseball game there someday.
Yeah, I mean, not to get too far off track here, but
yeah, my bad on that.
No, not you. I'm talking about me. As it pertains to Arkansas, and I know what's coming following this statement, but it's still amazing they haven't won a national championship. Now they should have.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And
they were a foul ball away from it for sure.
Yeah, they should have won it. Coach, in addition to that, I mean, obviously Noah's been out and we knew that. Now Will is not going to pitch this weekend. And the Jersenbeck news, I thought he was probably in line maybe to get a start, as a matter of fact, because he's been throwing well. And that's just, I don't think they've made it official yet, but we know what's happened, so he's done. So you're missing 16, 17 innings, realistically, from three guys you were going to depend on this year in the prime of the year on the road at Arkansas. We know everybody else who's available, and I get it, but the stress that puts on the staff, what is that like managing that with what you've got in front of you these next 27 innings?
Well, the hard part of it now is you're just trying to redefine roles right in the middle of the game. You know what I mean? You kind of started to feel who your early relief, even Hicks, he had felt like, okay, I'm going to be that middle relief guy. You start to mentally prepare. Now, who knows what goes on tonight, but he may be the starter tomorrow. We're not sure, how Mahoney's going to be used, which on a side note, I think Mahoney would be excellent as a closer. I just know you have to protect his arm, so you haven't been able to use him in that role, because what's so hard about being a reliever is you get him up and then you have to set him down. So, even Hicks this year, they've warmed him up and had to bring him in anyway, because you don't want to make a guy that's had arm issues do it. I just, like Veach last weekend, they came out later and said the elbow was a little sore, so we protected him. He's a huge part. You got to hope he's available this weekend, because if he is with that changeup, I think he can be a big part, as we've all seen, of this bullpen. But you're just in a case now that really you meet today and go, look, guys, we're all figuring it out. We know we're throwing Eli out there tonight. He may give us 3 innings. He may give us 7 innings. Mahoney's got to be prepared to go. I'm sure Hicks is ready to go tonight. Austin's always ready. I think it's just going to be a case of them trying to sort this out. The unfortunate part is that middle of the week game next week, you really can't do much, because then you got Tennessee so quick again on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I was telling somebody this morning, I think I'd rather double up midweeks early and get rid of these midweek games later in the year, because
I agree.
They tend to be bad RPI games, and then you slip up and lose a bad RPI game, which maybe or maybe didn't really hurt them. We don't know. The RPI still held pretty good, but it's just these next 7 games, I mean, and not to mention they're going to happen in 9 days. See, I'm sitting there this morning. I'm no mathematician, but you only got 2 off days to really get going. You got Monday, and you're going to be getting over a travel day, and Wednesday. The rest you're playing, and you're going to be figuring it out in the fire. There's no time to draw it on the chalkboard.
I want to go back to just kind of make sure that I'm understanding your point here, and I think I am. With where they are, with what's happened, the skid here, the 1-5 in the last 6 SEC games, the loss at North Florida, you got to stop the bleeding somewhere. So is that a moment? Is tonight the old school Ray Tanner, worry about today, we'll worry about tomorrow type thing, where you get Eli out there and he runs you 4 or 5 innings, and then I know Coach King has not officially announced a starter for tomorrow, but I think we have a good idea of who it's going to be. And you go, well, this is the best matchup, and we've got to win today and get that 15th SEC win. So my point is, are you kind of putting all the eggs in the basket to go get the win in game 1 if you need to, just to get off that schneid?
I would be, because again, we don't know with the weather. Tomorrow night's another night scheduled game. I haven't heard any reason it wouldn't be. So if it continues that way and all of a sudden you're playing 2 Sunday, let's say, or maybe you only get 1, I would be going tonight if everyone's ready to go tonight, and I assume they are. Yeah, I'm going tonight. I'm treating this series like a super regional in the sense that let's win tonight, and then we'll worry about game 2. We'll worry about game 3 during game 2 and game 3, because what I can tell you about Arkansas, if you allow them to grab momentum and say take a 4-2 game tonight and win 9-2, tomorrow's crowd shows up and it feels like it's still 9-2. That's the one thing about their crowd that's different than anywhere. We all know momentum starts on the mound every game, but I've always felt Arkansas and Mississippi State, it's like their fans pick right up the next day. Like you can go anywhere else in this league and it has to all happen again. But when you're at Arkansas or at Mississippi State, it's like the first inning and you're going, oh, God, here we go again. Because they're so involved in it and they're so loud. The bullpens are just so covered by their fans. It's really stressful. And if you can win there on a Friday night, which I've been lucky enough to do before with teams, they get mad at their team. So the next day they almost pout a little bit early to see, because they don't expect to lose at home. I mean, their record this year, I think, is 28-3 at home. Mm-hmm. And when they lose, they're mad the next day. So you can – I don't know why Mississippi – when I was at Ole Miss, we could go there and win like it was nothing. Like our guys, it was a bus trip from Oxford, so I guess it was just a whole different mentality. But by Sunday, one year we swept them. By Sunday, the crowd was noticeably different. But I've also been there and got swept. And that crowd by Sunday, you think like they must not have a fire marshal. They just let everybody that wants in the gate in. I mean, there's like people everywhere. So long answer to a short question. Yeah, I'm trying to win the night. Everything I can do to win the night.
That's called alcohol, Coach, in Oxford and Fayetteville. That's what it's called.
Up.
It's called alcohol. There's a reason why you walk in, they're still calling hogs on Saturday after a win. They're not hungover.
They didn't stop. That's right. They didn't stop.
It works.
Yeah, it works sometimes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll let you. I know we got to get you out of here, but if it looks like LeCroy's good, we should see McGillis in some form or fashion, whatever that is. I know he pinch ran the other night. Maybe he gets an AB. Maybe he's in there defensively somewhere. Who knows at some point. And then Wimmer's probably the last of those three that they're really waiting on, kind of circling the Tennessee series. With that information that we have, do you defensively and with the lineup included, do you have an idea in your mind? I know you know a lot of these kids, so I'm trying not to make this personal at all, but of what their best lineup right now might look like to try to get back to normal?
I mean, obviously you're saying
question.
No, I'm just trying to think a lot myself of where they're going to go with it. I'm just not really sure where McGillis is yet.
Yeah.
You know, his is not anything with toughness or it's a broken bone. So it is just time. I know he has taken BP now since last weekend. Actually, I asked Coach Tanner yesterday because he went to practice last week. He wasn't throwing a lot until this week. So we forget that where his break was is where you throw. So, I mean, he hasn't got to throw, in 6 or 8 weeks. So, if he's available, I think he's going to try to get him back in there at second but I do think we'll see LeCroy at third. Get LeCroy at third, which means Messina gets behind the plate, and then you kind of figure second base out a little bit. Hopefully it turns out to be McGillis sooner than later. That's what I kind of foresee with that, kind of standing in there.
Kind of a baseball question for you, too. We were discussing this earlier in the week, and coaches do it differently, and this is not in any way of me second-guessing Coach Kingston or anybody else for that matter. Some coaches, when they find a spot in the lineup for you, it's a big league approach. You're the 7-hole guy. You're the 3-hole guy. You're the leadoff guy. When you struggle, guess what? You're still going to be the leadoff guy. That's just the way it is. Some coaches, and we see this a lot with this program, as you get hot and as you struggle a little bit, you get moved around to try to find the best approach for that day and the lineup that day. Is there – and it really sometimes depends on the kid too, right, Coach? So is there one that you prefer? Is there an approach that is better than another? I know everybody's kind of done it their own way, but just your thought – on, or if you can give us some additional analysis on the differences in how you write a lineup sometimes.
Well, we're all different, but I learned from Coach Tanner. So, I mean, Monty would say it, Coach Tolman said, all of us that worked for him, we would just always have a big lineup sheet, and he would get in. You weren't moving if you were doing whatever you had done. He did not like changing the lineup a lot. Maybe tinker a little bit. But if you go back and look, Coach Tanner's lineups are pretty much you're hitting first, you're hitting fifth, you're hitting ninth, whatever. And I liked that mode, and that's how I did as a head coach most of the time because it just allowed guys to never change their mentality. In a sense, I would pull guys over. I've told y'all the joke before. I went to Coach Mazey when I was playing and told him I thought I should hit higher in the lineup. And he told me, well, I thought about hitting you 10th. And, I was young enough. I said, well, Coach, we only hit 9. He goes, exactly. So stop talking to me about the lineup. And that was what I would say to our hitters prior to the year, that I promise you no one wants to win more than the coaches. So we're not ever sitting here going, if we hit JC 7th, he'll get one less at bat than JB. So let's do that today. No, what we're trying to do is set our lineup up to help you win games. And I'm not a big moving around. That doesn't mean that's right. I've just always been a guy that I like guys to know that I'm usually going to hit in the second inning of that game. So mentally, I'm kind of getting in the dugout to get ready. Hey, I know I hit in the first inning. So I got to hustle off the field and get ready to hit in the top of the first or bottom of the first, whatever. So that's just how I was raised as a coach. And and then Coach Tanner was so good at saying once the first pitch is thrown, the leadoff guy may only lead off once.
Right.
The 4-hole hitter may lead off 3 times in the game. So let's stop putting labels, on this and that. Let's just be who we are and let's go. So that's kind of always how I was raised. Again, that doesn't mean it's right. Surely doesn't mean it's wrong. We lost a lot with it too, and we changed as we went. But that was just how I was brought up to do. Kind of keep that part simple. And as a coach, when you write out the lineup, it was nice to just always be able to pencil in that leadoff or 2-hole or 3-hole or even really that 7, 8, 9 hole to know that, man, we're going to really, like last weekend in Auburn, it seemed like the bottom of the lineup for Kentucky and the bottom of the lineup for Auburn, they seemed like they were on base all the time against us those last 2 weekends. So you want to also find yourself not looking at the lineup as a pitcher going, oh, well, this is the 8-hole hitter coming up, so I can, maybe catch my breath. No, not in this league. They're all 9 legitimate dudes.
Yeah, and owning it like Wingo did when he first got to Carolina. He owned it down there, and it all worked out. So the guys like Smoke, who was like, no, I hit third.
Yes.
Where do you think you're going to be in the lineup? You've been struggling. Third? Oh, yeah. All right. Well, then that's that. And that's dealing in a perfect world, by the way, too. When you get a bunch of guys banged up, you got to move things around to figure it out. We
can I give you one story?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So it's odd you asked that question today. We go to lunch yesterday. Coach Tanner went with me, and someone at this lunch asked about lineups. And if you've ever heard his stories, he always likes to take a shot at someone. So he said, well, I didn't really coach very smart guys. So when they got used to hitting after each other, I didn't change it a lot. Is what he's telling me. He goes, but we go to Mississippi State one year, and Coach Cohen, who's now the AD at Auburn, is why this all started, he switched up his batting order in a game to kind of re-energize some guys, is what he had told Coach before the game. But the hitters, in about the second or third time through, hit out of order. So Coach Tanner says it's a crucial point in the game, and he said, I'm staring at number 6 standing at the plate, and I keep looking at my lineup, and I keep going, holy cow, they're batting out of order. He goes, I'm hoping the guy's going to hit into a double play, so I don't even have to say anything. And it's like the 7th inning, but he hits a double. And the tying run scores from first, and when all the hoopla ends, he said, I walk to the plate, and I say to the plate umpire, they just hit out of order. And he said, and the plate umpire looked at me and said, no way, they really just did this. And he said, yeah. And he said, I'm looking over, and Cohen's like kind of looking at me like, what's going on? They go tell him. That means the hitter's out. The runner's got to come back out of the dugout, go to first. He said it was an explosion. So his story to my donor yesterday was, maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe my players were. He said, I just used to keep saying batting order all the time because I didn't want bat out of order. And it's just funny you asked that question today after that. So maybe that was why. Maybe we just weren't very smart. And maybe we bet in numerical order. What number was Smokey? Hell, that might be why he hit.
He was 12, so you wouldn't want to do that.
So I don't know. We had some high numbers.
Well, hey, during those years, and I could say this, and all these they wouldn't get mad at me because they're my friends. But when you had the middle of the order, it was Smoke, Darnell, Disher, Drew Crisp. There wasn't a lot going on up there, so you better keep them in order, or they wouldn't know what the hell was going on when it came time to playing. What is the rule on that? I don't. If you bat out of order, can they? If you catch it during the at bat, can you switch it, or is it as soon as the pitch is thrown? Okay.
Well, he went on to say if I'd have went to the plate during the at bat, they could have just said, "Oh, wow, we're out of order," and that guy that jumped in and picked up the count.
Okay, that's
since he let the play in, you get the choice. So if he'd have hit into a double play, he could have just ran off the field and said, "Hey, no problem, sort your batting order out, and you're fine." But since he got a hit, it's like the balk rule. You can let the play finish, and then the opponent gets to choose, and he obviously chose, I don't want double in the tying run to score. I want you to call him out, put the runner back where he was. And he said to this day, he said, we'll be in a meeting, and John Cohen will try to make some great point, and he'll go, don't hit out of order here. And he said, Nick Cohen will just turn red to this day, because it's the only time in his career that they could ever remember it really happening, especially in an SEC game. So it was a cool story to hear him tell, because that was probably about 08, 09 era when all that happened.
Well, hopefully they don't do that tonight. That's with what's been going on the last couple of games. Let's just try to hit in order, guys, and do it the way you're supposed to do it. Well, hopefully the hatless appearance on our program today and JC's burn up chicken will get him a victory tonight. In addition, maybe to the right arm of Eli Jones and a couple of long balls, and see if they can get off that good start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach, thank you for the extended time. Once again, you do this often for us, and you do it every week, but you stay longer than you need to, and we really do appreciate that. And hopefully next week we're talking about some pretty good stuff with Tennessee coming to town on Thursday.
Absolutely. Look forward to it and always enjoy it.
Hey, happy Mother's Day to your mom and your wife and all of the moms in your life, man. Give them a big hug for us.
Same back to y'all. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach. There you go.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Stuart Lake. So we have, of course, screwed everything up here by blowing through the break. So I guess we'll double that up a little bit later on.
Yeah,
after Patrick.
We'll get to it sometime.
He's going to be joining us in his truck anyways on video, but in his truck. So he's not going to be able to stick around for 30 or 45 minutes or anything ridiculous. So
he's going to have a dog with him, because that'd be only fitting.
Maybe. You never know.
Just double up on the next break, Phil, once we get Patrick out, and then we'll have, because that should catch us up, right?
Yeah.
I usually keep
I'm
up
not
with it
going to
pretty
double
good.
up noon, because we got
don't double that.
No, not noon. Not
after
now,
that.
but, yeah. The next one following this one we're about to do.
Yeah.
All right.
In radio, these conversations are had through an earpiece.
I was going to say, yeah, and thanks for joining us.
If you like pushing in the truck.
Yeah.
Yappity yap.
Yeah.
Notice how all of our interviews run long, though.
Yeah. I guess that means they like us.
We're fun guys.
But no, that's it. It just turns into a conversation. The next thing you know, it's been 30 minutes. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, exactly. Really good stuff there from Coach Lake as well. Like always, he's a blast. When we return, the debut brand new single, Six String Dreams of Patrick Davis. That will lead off hour number 2, and then he'll join us following that. If you haven't heard it, you're going to hear it and see it. It's really good. Hang tight. Inside the Gamecocks, the show is teed up by travelingcountryclub.com, the coolest club in the Carolinas. Almost 45 golf courses you can play for almost nothing based on one low monthly fee. It is awesome. And I've got a tee time coming up here in a couple of weeks through travelingcountryclub.com, and I absolutely cannot wait. Hang tight. PD, next.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for a karaoke partner, I can tell you, I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But what I do have is a very specific set of skills. Hang up now, and your IT nightmares will continue. But stay on the line, and I will find you. And when I find you, I will fix it. Thanks. I think I have the wrong number. I'm trying to call Matt at Heritage Digital. He has a one-price, low-cost turnkey solution for all my IT needs, and I'm sick and tired of my IT guy. So, yeah, 843-699-1001. This is 1002. Oh, well, thanks anyway. Don't be taken by some IT dude that talks a big game. Give Matt at Heritage Digital a call, 843-699-1001.
Golfers and wannabe golfers, former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor is now a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina. In-person golf lessons are held at the Country Club of Lexington. Half-hour, hour, on course 9 or 18 holes. And if you're outside of South Carolina, Meredith conducts virtual lessons. Just send in your golf swing for analysis. Gift cards are available for in-person 1-hour lessons. Connect on Twitter at Mayor Taylor and find her online at McKellarEnterprises.org. Her email is on the website. Schedule your next lesson today with Meredith Taylor, former Gamecock golfer.
Hey Gamecock fans, it's Evan Stone from Gamecock Baseball. A couple of painters paint the show garnet and black every day and get the job done right at a fair cost. Go to letmepaintsomething.com for information and an estimate. Go Cox.
You heard Evan Stone, Gamecock fans. 10% off for military repeat customers or mention the show. Interior, exterior painting, fencing, cabinet staining, concrete painting, popcorn ceiling removal, and more. 803-522-6832. LetMePaintSomething.com.
Don't you know, no. From the littlest chick to the big old cock, it's the gift. Here comes the West.
Danny Hill. He'll run. Touchdown. Oh, watch him celebrate now.
album forthcoming soon, hopefully sooner than later. You can head to patrickdavismusic.com. But that song came out at midnight last night. I downloaded it at 12:01.
Wow.
And you can all do that as well. And I'll tell you why, PD, because I stayed up late and watched the best movie I have seen in a long time.
Shawshank Redemption.
No, it just came out last night at 9:00 on Amazon Prime. Air, the movie about Michael Jordan and Nike.
Oh, that's out. I need to watch that. That's what I'm doing this afternoon.
Finished at 11:55, and I turned the TV off and rolled over, and I said, "Son of a Patrick, I got it. Hold on," and I got it. Yeah. It's a jam.
You sound like a Swiftie there, JB. The Swifties stay up for Taylor's releases.
More of a Patty.
Yeah. Like a Patty Murphy, like a Irish thing.
Yeah.
Patty Murphy. Yeah.
Man, because if your truck has a lamp and guitars in it, man, you're riding in style.
What? Oh no!
You said you were going to be in the car or the truck.
I thought I was going to be, but I actually I took my we took my puppy to PetSmart for a checkup, and then I came up here and I'm upstairs where we have another road dog downstairs that is a lunatic. So if she gets up here, it'll be terrible. So I locked myself in the bedroom.
Patrick, do you live near the Brentwood PetSmart there, or Franklin, Cool Springs area?
Yeah,
because I used to take my dog. I used to take my dog there. So that's what I lived in Nashville. So
that's how I got into it. I told him, I said, I know JC, and they were like, "Oh, we'll take you now."
Yeah, there you go. Man, that's a hot track, by the way. I mean, that I was like, where's Warren? It sounds like Warren Haynes and Dickie Betts and Butch Trucks and J-Mo and Greg on the Hammond B3. I mean, that sounded great.
It's literally it is that level of musicians. I'm very lucky here in town. The guys that I play with on the road are wonderful, and my guys that I play in the studio with are some of the best musicians in the world. And I'm not just saying that, they actually are. The guitar player, me and Sadler Vaden, South Carolina boy, Sadler Vaden actually wrote that song together, and that the solo is Sadler, and Sadler plays with Jason Isbell in the 400 unit, and he's becoming a kind of a guitar god. And then my buddy Tom Bukovac, if you guys want to Google Tom Bukovac, I think Tom has like 100,000 followers on YouTube because he does a thing called homeschooling, which is him teaching you how to play. But he was the guitar player for like Joe Walsh, and he goes out with Ann Wilson from Heart. I mean, like, this dude is like, he is just the man. My band is insane. Surround yourself with people better than you. You know, it's the Dabo Sweeney rule. You know, like, it's that type of thing, you know. So gotta get in a
that's how I'm doing this. You know,
Clemson jab instantly. Yeah, it's just like JB. It's like, you know, surround yourself with people better than you. It's like are taller than you. Taller than you is probably
that's a
shut up. Come on, man. I've heard the short jokes my whole life. Flint never did that.
Yeah, he could aspire to more.
Yeah, look, it's all good. Hey, so walk us. We'll get to the album and all that in just a minute, and future releases of singles. Walk us through that song. It's a unique song. What are you telling us here?
Well, it's just that you know, my dad, musician, lifelong musician, and but you know, he was. I live in Nashville. I've been very fortunate with what I get to do, and you know, and I've played the Ryman. I've done all these crazy shows, and my dad, he was a weekend warrior. That's what, you know, and he was amazing. But he just, you know, they played in smoky bars and roadside, you know, the shit you saw in like what is it, Blues Brothers, you know, with the chicken wire, like that's what they played, you know, and but it's still the same dream. It doesn't make it any less real, and it doesn't make it any less important. It's just we all get to different levels, and a lot of that isn't just talent. A lot of it's luck, and that's kind of what it's about. Is because I remember playing in 5 Points. I remember playing in the Vista. I remember playing in Charleston. You know, when we were just doing cover gigs in a corner, and that's where it starts. And some folks do it for fun, some folks do it for money, and some of us make it to a bus, and some of us are just in the corner playing in a cover gig, and that's kind of what it is. I kind of wanted to tell that story because for me, I recognize how fortunate I am, and I'm nowhere close to where I would aspire to be, but like, I know how lucky I am to be 25 years or 20 plus years in Nashville. And that's a dream. And, but I also don't, I would never belittle how awesome it is for the guy that's playing in the Irish pub in Columbia this weekend, because that's still part of the dream. And we all live the same thing. So that's kind of the idea.
You a couple of years ago, we were texting back and forth about something. I can't remember what venue it was. I asked you Are you going to play? You ever going to play here? Something like that. And I remember you making the comment to me, that's not really my gig. But so like, as you have grown as a singer, songwriter, musician, artist, really, you have found, what would you call it, a niche, like where you fit? And
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people, I think part of what you're trying to tell us in this story here is there's a lot of people that actually never find that. Like they just continue to chase and chase and chase and chase, and at some point in time they can't chase anymore.
Yeah, that's what the bridge is. The bridge is like I was trying to be a little clever songwriter, but it's it's just 3 chords in the truth, but 4 out of 5 don't survive. That's the truth. I mean, like in Nashville, I think it used to be, the numbers have grown a lot, but it's probably the same percentage wise. It used to be like 100,000 people came here a year to try to be songwriters or performers or guitar players or drummers, and within 6 months, 90,000 of those people were gone. And within 1 year, 99,000 of those people were gone. And then within 2 years, like there was only like 50 to 100 of those 100,000 people still in Nashville, because that's how difficult it is. So that's essentially kind of the I guess the storyline with the song is that, but it doesn't mean that they failed. They can still go home and play Can't You See by Marshall Tucker's 3 damn chords. You can play that all day, So it doesn't mean that that's still just as important, because that's music is one of those special things that it brings us all together. And it's like sports. I mean, I've told you this before. I think that music and sports are very similar, because I know that JC loves Taylor Swift, and and you love you're a big Backstreet Boys fan, whatever it is, and
not anymore.
And yeah, not anymore.
Not since Lachey left. No.
Oh my God.
Or was he insane?
I don't know what that means, but it sounds right. But no, but
98 degrees.
98 degrees. Yeah. All of those.
Phil.
We just I ran everybody off the rails right there. I apologize.
It's okay, man.
But what I was trying to say was that sports and music, they kind of bring everybody together, because everybody has different, you have different teams, different things you like, but it still is that common denominator. And that's, I guess that's kind of what I say when it comes to 6 String Dreams is no matter what version of your dream you're living, it's still important to the overall cause, I guess.
That's going to be my Gamecock baseball on the porch music tonight, just in case anybody was wondering. It goes into, I've got a playlist in my phone,
I do.
PD, called the greatest playlist ever created.
Wow.
I know. It's pretty unique. And
That's a pretty good name.
And it's just a mixture of all, like every once in a while I'll hear songs.
The greatest song ever. It's such a mixture of the greatest songs ever.
Yeah, like I'll hear, exactly. Or people that I really like, so it's pretty much Eric Church and Patrick Davis. Yeah, no. Well, I mean, like you'll hear a song, you haven't heard in a while from the Supremes or something. Like, this one's a jam, and I just slide it in there. So that's already in there. But
George Michael, maybe.
Hey, George Michael was a badass. I'll give it to him. He was.
I was all about. Yeah, and not just Faith. I mean, Father Figure's a jam.
He was an amazing singer.
One More Try. I mean,
I think he did. I think this is like way off on a tangent now, but there was like, I think maybe there's like a Queen tribute or something like that, and he sang. I don't remember. It wasn't Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think.
He sang Find Somebody. He sang Find Somebody to Love. And he kills it. You're like, wow, that dude was like, man, he was more than just Wham. He really was,
Oh yeah.
Wham is, oh God.
Never gonna
okay.
All
right. Yeah. So hey, the video, the music. I mean, you've done music videos before.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like to make a music video? And you were downtown Nashville. It looks like making that one.
Yeah, you feel like an idiot. That's what it's like. Yeah, because you have to. Yeah, you want to know. It's like ask anybody. They're lying. If they tell you anything else, they're lying. It just because you just gotta walk around like with these people looking at you like, what is this dumbass doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's cameras and everything, so they're like, oh shit, is it Taylor Swift? And they're like, no, who is that? so it's like they're like, oh shit, we were at least hoping for like, I don't know, somebody
Wham.
We heard, Wham maybe, but but yeah, so that's what it's like. I mean, but it's the world we live in now, as you guys know. I mean, this show is a prime example. It's so insane. It's I wrote songs forever, and that's kind of, I mean, I still do, but that was kind of what was my bread and butter for many, many years. And then I decided to kind of start doing my own thing. And now that I'm recognizing what you have to do just to get your songs out into the universe, I mean, it's not just your team and the amount of money it costs to do all that, or even just record it, which is so expensive and all that. It's like there's now TikTok and there's Facebook and there's Instagram and there's YouTube and there's, you got to do this YouTube short. And it is unbelievable. It used to just be that you made music, you put it out there and you hope that it found it, because the avenues were kind of just, it was radio or your local record store or these things. Now it's just constant. It's constant contact. You got to send your, email list, all these things. And that's where it comes into the videos are so important, is because that is a medium that, a lot of people just get, I'm always fascinated. I get my music personally from Spotify, but there's other people that get their music from Apple Music. And then I'll find people that actually get their music from TikTok. I'm like, what? And then you're like, and they get it from YouTube. They go to YouTube and that's how they get their music. So that's where putting a lyric video or anything up like that is so important, because it's just anything that can drive people to find your music, because there's so much. Can I cuss on y'all's thing? I can't remember. I'm trying so hard not to cuss.
It's the Spurrier rule. Just don't say the F word.
Oh, well, that was
like, hey, it's like, I shoot a shit dammer. Hell's fine every now and then. Just don't say the F word, Patrick.
That actually is that's my favorite word. So I'm not going to cuss, because if you say all I'm going to say is that. So, but it's really, really difficult these days to get it out there, because there is just so much white noise. There's so much out there. There's so many, like you guys know, there's so many sports. Everybody in their basement can be like, I got a podcast. I'm talking about Gamecock baseball or whatever, or Patrick Davis's new album. And that's great. That's wonderful. But it's hard for those of us that are trying to do something that actually should be up a little higher on the food chain, or hopefully a lot higher on the food chain. It's hard to get people to get through that noise. So that's what is, I think that's why the videos are happening. And that's why I'm willing to feel like an idiot walking through the middle of Nashville with a guitar case in the middle of the night with a bunch of drunk debutantes or whatever, our bachelorette parties, going like, are you famous? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Will you sing for me?
Oh my gosh.
Will you sing?
Oh my gosh.
Like, do you know Morgan Wallen? Do you know who that is?
Well, you wrote a song for Morgan Wallen.
That
song that he
that's what I say. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll tell him. What do you need me to do? You gonna buy some merch? You buy some merch. I'll tell you I know more.
Buy some merch.
Well, I'm glad you touched on that, Patrick, because I was going to say, I mean, it's incredibly hard business to be in anyway. But yeah, the new dimensions that you have to enter into now, because now you just get lumped in, I guess, kind of like like every other content creator, right? 100%. So it was like, and
I hate that word, like content creation. Yeah. That's like, what are you talking like? And they even look at our music like that. Like this song is literally just content. And I told Jamie this, like I said, hey, look, I'm going to send you the link for this that essentially is like a LinkedIn, a link tree or whatever, where it shows you all the different places you can get it. And I go, and that's so that everybody that has their different Pandora or whatever can get on it. I go, but here's the deal. You have to stream it. Like, the only thing that matters in our world is if it gets streamed like a lot. And you can't just put it on repeat. Like, it used to be, they kind of figured this out. You would have your friends, you'd be like, hey, just put it on repeat for the next week, and put it on mute. Just don't even pay attention to that old computer, the porn computer. Just put it on there, what I mean? So it's just like, that's funny. But anyway, you just put it on there and do that. Well, now they recognize that happens. So now the only way that we win is if streams happen. So you have to tell your buddies that are willing to do it. You go, hey, listen to it 5 or 6 times. Go away, come back 2 hours later, do it again, put it on mute. Just don't do it repeatedly or it'll flag it and then it won't count those streams. But that's the only way that we get, and the labels, every one of the labels, that's what they do. They have everybody in their office today, whatever's the new release, if there's 100 people at Sony, they're all listening to that release just constantly on they'll have their computer on YouTube, Pandora, Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify. Every one of them will be playing that, because that's how the algorithms work. They just want us to show that you actually somebody cares. So what I'm saying is I need the three of you guys to listen to Six String Dreams about 300 times. I need you got to stop listening to 98 Degrees. You got to stop listening to I need it over there. Look at that right there on every device. That's just one device, JC. I need everyone. You call your kids, your parents, your grandparents. I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm kind of.
I got the fiance on it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I've got mine. Don't worry.
No,
yeah,
I know,
was gonna say, I was listening to it on the back porch, and I know my wife will start too because it's
but isn't that
hell of a song, man.
Isn't that crazy though? Isn't that crazy to go that's what we have to do? I mean, it's just a. But anyway, yeah. So that's where we live in. So I'm trying to follow the Taylor Swift rule of trying to get a lot of 12, 13-year-old girls in middle school to really like Six String Dreams. I feel like this is the type of song they're really going to get behind.
You know, really
guitar.
To them.
Yeah. If I say John Mayer, I should put special guest featuring John Mayer, Ed Sheeran, and I don't even know who else.
God.
And then it might work.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the only other song I downloaded this morning was that new Ed Sheeran song, "Life Goes On," that's got Luke Combs in it. That's good.
All right, that's cool.
They
I believe
did
you.
a nice
That's
job with
good.
that.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to it like I've listened to it, but just once.
Yeah, you better not listen. You listen to it once, and then you go back to mine.
Well, I don't owe anything to Ed, but you know what's funny is a guy that used to. I mean, we all remember the days of being Gamecocks. I cannot. This is no exaggeration. I cannot say this any clearer. The guy that used to literally sleep on our couch from what he called God's country, Abbeville, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We thought this guy, if he's alive when college is over, he ain't gonna be for long. You know, it's just not gonna work out for him. I mean, he's just every day he's just a disaster. He's Luke Combs' caretaker, and he's clean as a whistle. No alcohol, nothing. And he lives on his property and takes care of it. I don't want to say his name.
Is it? Oh, all right. Well, I might know him.
I'll text you.
Right now.
He's from
Abbeville. He lives on Luke's property up in the mountains.
Lives on his property. He's his caretaker.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm good. Like, how did it?
We all wait.
What did I do wrong? He doesn't pay for anything. He's just
that could be your job. You could be Luke Combs' caretaker. No, you could come to Nashville. You could be my caretaker. I'd put you downstairs. Like you could just hang out with the pups. You could bring you could have the family come up and stay every now and then and
walk your dogs every.
I think you walk the dog 3 hours and download my songs every hour or two.
I have 18 phones, you know.
A really funny story. We'll do this to the musicians. We'll do this on the road just to mess with each other. I was on the road with I was out with Lady Annabelle. Lady A. I was writing songs with them. This is years and years ago. But one of the guys made the mistake of leaving their like iTunes open. This is back in the iTunes days. And so what I did was I went and downloaded every song. I made him pay for it because I could just do it. I downloaded every song I'd written and then, like every album that I'd ever done. He had to buy them all. And he came back and he was like, and still to this day, I saw him like about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I went to a show in Charlotte and saw this fella. And he goes, I still got all your songs on my Apple Music. Like, you cost me $200, bro. I was like, I know. I love it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
So the rest of the album, PD, do you have a date that you'll release the album? I know you're going to be releasing singles and then the album,
I think that the way it works, once again, inside music business stuff is, let's say that you have 12 songs on your album. The way that the Spotify's and Apple Music and folks like that treat albums is the minute that album is released, it is essentially dead to them. They don't really promote it after that. They want you to be working on the next album. So that's why the singles thing has happened, where everybody releases singles all the time. So it does really no good unless you are like, if you're Beyonce or you're John Mayer or one of those giant acts. Well, of course, who cares? Ed Sheeran, who cares how they release it, because it's going to be billions of people are going to listen to it. If you're like myself, who's a little bit in niche or whatever, like you got to do the single releases. So if you have 12 songs on the album, you can actually release 6 singles and then 1 single the day you release your album. So I'm going to have probably 12 or 13 songs on the album. So my plan is basically for the rest of the year, is to release a single every month, 6 weeks, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then the album is actually going to be released probably, it looks like February of 24, just the way it's just the nature of the way, like the next song is coming out in I think maybe the end of June, beginning of July. And then Carolina When I Die, all those songs will be coming out this year, but the album won't be until the beginning of next year.
You know that the Carolina When I Die, no disrespect to Six String Dreams or any other song that's on your album, because I've heard a lot of them. I don't know about the other ones, but
if you come to be my caretaker, I'll play it all for you.
You realize, well, I've seen you play this song a lot. You realize that song is going to grab a lot of people.
Yeah,
it does when you play it. You see it from the stage.
No, I know when you
never heard it.
Yeah, when you release these, you kind of have a understanding. You know which tracks are going to be like, Six String Dreams is like, I love it. Like JC talked about, I love it because my dad was an old guitar slinger, and I love the story behind it. And I'm a songwriter. It's very, it's a pretty well written story song. It fits into the mold of what I love. So I wanted that to be the first song because it kind of sets up like, hey, this is what Patrick kind of sounds like. This is the story. Like, this is the songwriting. I want it to be like front and center. Like, this mother, is a badass songwriter. That's what I want people to know. Because that's what I love. I don't want it to be like just fodder for the normal stuff. So, but not every song is necessarily gonna grab people like Carolina When I know Carolina When I Die is gonna be a song that people are gonna like. It'll be played at weddings, at funerals. It'll be played. I know this. I know what it means. So that's got to be done. But that'll be in the fall because the other thing I think about, it's a fall song. Like, think about how it makes you feel. It makes you feel a certain way. That's why, like, there's certain songs that, they always talk about your summer jam or whatever. Like, you want something that's up tempo, and then so certain things kind of have a mood that goes with them. So Carolina When I Die will be during football season, hopefully while we're playing pretty well. Can't be on like a 3-game losing streak when I release it. That'll be really shitty.
Maybe get it out before the
I'm talking to Shane about it. I'm like, listen, man, which games are you feeling best about here?
You're right.
I don't know if the baseball team sweeps Arkansas, then you may want to
release it on Monday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, man, I made a mistake of starting to pay attention to the baseball team recently, and I was like, I should not have paid attention. It's been bad.
Oh, so you're in the Stuart Lake JC Sherbert group. Y'all are taking the blame on yourselves for the slump, huh?
I told a buddy of mine the other day, he said the same thing. He's like, I'm down. I'm like, why? He's like, started to believe in the baseball team. And he's like, now I'm down.
Injuries. Injuries, man. That's bad.
It happens,
They're going to 10-run rule them tonight.
Really? Wow. Is Arkansas good?
I've been drinking. Yeah. I don't remember what
they're in first place. They're really good.
First place?
And it's out there. It's out there at Arkansas.
Oh, it's in Arkansas? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Are you playing tonight? What are you doing tonight?
No, I actually, God bless America. I have the next few days free. Next week I play in where I got married. I play up at the Macklemore in Rise and Fall On in Georgia, and then I'm playing at the Visual Light Theater in Charlotte next Friday night, which a lot of fun. That's with my midnight choir at the big band. And I got shows throughout I think I'm playing Cashiers, North Carolina, or Cashiers. I don't know where the Cashiers live. I don't know.
May 27th.
Yeah. So and then a lot of shows coming up for the. I got my SIP events. I got SIP Hillsburg, and I'm wearing a Baylor hat. You see this hat? Can y'all see it? Yeah, that's for Kimry.
Yeah.
He gave me this hat the other night.
Baylor School. Yeah.
You were saying you just hung out with him, right?
Yeah, I played a charity gig for the Baylor School. He got me into Chris Angel and Peggy Angel, who used to be the headmasters at Hammond in Columbia. They are now the headmasters at Baylor. And so they asked me if I'd do a charity event. So me and my wife, Lauren, and Christian Bush from Sugar Land went and did a show the other night. I'd never been there. It's beautiful. Quick little drive, about 2 hours from here. And Kimry got up, and I told him, I was like, you going to play guitar tonight? And he got up and he played on Where I'm From. He played 3 chords, and he rocked the house.
I didn't know he could play guitar.
I mean, he can a little bit. Yeah. I mean, he was so nervous. He was so nervous, but he did great. I was like, oh, you got to play GCD, man. Very easy. I'll make it so easy for you. And he was like, all right. And I waited to the last song, got him good and like lubed, like he was pretty lubed up, you know what I'm saying? And he was feeling no pain. And he was like, I got this. And he got it. He did it.
I could do GCD open chords.
GCD. Slide that capo down to like 2 or 3 so you don't have to stretch as far.
I could just do it. I could do that.
The song was in A, so I had to put the capo on the second fret so we could play GCD. And I was like, you're only going to play the very end. It's just G, C, and D over and over again. He still got a little carried away there in a couple parts, but overall, I was like, he had a few fade in the corner, 4th and 28 moments, whatever it was. Like he didn't
love that guy.
Just toss it out there and see what happens.
That's funny.
I would encourage anybody. So we've hit on a lot of this because Patrick has so much going. I don't think I actually know anybody that has more stuff going on than you do nonstop. He mentioned the Macklemore Club, which if anybody is going to be anywhere near Chattanooga, which is where Rising Fawn basically is 45 minutes, coming up next week, you can get tickets at patrickdavismusic.com. You did mention Charlotte. You did mention Cashiers. But then after that, you've got you always have your SIP, Songwriters in Paradise. I know you were just out in Napa. And you've got Harrodsburg coming up.
No, it's Hillsburg, is how you say it. It's in Sonoma. Hillsburg. It's like Mayberry in wine country, like rich Mayberry. It's awesome though. It's and that's in July. It's beautiful. And then I do Sip Cabo, which is right after Thanksgiving. And these things are getting kind of crazy. I have a whole team of people now that work on that. That was literally just an excuse for me and my buddies to go write songs and play music, to go get together for a week and get drunk. And now it's turned into a business. So I don't know how that happened, but it's kind of like y'all's show. It was just an excuse for y'all to talk about sports and get drunk. And now look at you now.
I know. Phil's sober as a bird because we got big.
Look at Phil down there. He's like, yeah, this is just coffee. Totally.
Classic Phil. We call him Classic Phil. So people actually can get tickets to that. And if you're ever looking for maybe a unique vacation, check those things out.
Yeah. Those things are incredible. They're small. They're only 150, 200 people. So if you like a vacation with you and your lady and kind of like a special kind of thing, they're pretty awesome. So, but anyway, and then what, Jamie?
And then what was I going to say? Oh, now anytime somebody's in Nashville, your bar.
Yeah, I got 2 bars now. I got 2 bars in Nashville. Yeah, we got to open up another one called Reunion over in East Nashville, and then the old bar's Never Never. Reunion is pretty awesome because we have an Airbnb hotel, like a boutique hotel connected to it. So if you come in Nashville, you don't have to stay with me, Jamie. You can stay in our Airbnb. You got to pay for it, but you can stay in the Airbnb hotel.
I don't want to stay there.
You don't want to stay there? I need a caretaker.
You can't black out for dates.
Haney offered me a spot. He said I could crash at his house.
Haney doesn't even have I've been in Haney's house. His extra bedroom is a bunch of boxes. You'll be sleeping on a bunch of boxes. That's what you're going to be doing. Yeah. Yeah, he's a single dude living in Nashville. What do you think his second bedroom looks like? What do you think it looks like? I don't think you want to know what his regular bedroom looks like. How about that?
No, I have no interest in. No, that's fine.
You and Haney might be sleeping in the same bed. That would be so cute. You'd be like, the radio, yeah. You guys know Michael Haney, right? Everybody knows Michael Haney.
Yeah. Well, we did ask him if he thought, with the release of Born to Crow, we asked him, do you think that you're now the official voice of Gamecock athletics? Like, have you superseded Patrick? You're the man now.
Look,
and he wouldn't answer it.
Yeah, he was like, well, I was like, that's fine. He can have it. I mean, like, I'll still be the big old cock guy, and that's not a bad thing to be. Let's be honest. Okay?
I'd take that title over
worse terms.
I said that at Kimry's event the other night. I just did it just for the Gamecocks, and I was like, hey, my name's Patrick. I was like, some people know me as the big old cock guy, and I just left it out there. And they were just like, we saw these rich people that have done this crazy thing, this show, were like looking like they're like, this is a charity. What did he say? I must have heard him wrong.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, people.
That's the big old cock guy. Oh yeah, it is him, Mom.
Yeah. That's funny.
I hope they didn't go home and Google it. I hope they didn't go home and Google it.
No, don't do that.
Oh yeah, haven't you done that, JC?
I Googled Big Spur one time, and
how'd that work out?
A couple of pages down, after we named the website, and that's why we have the on it, the Big Spur. So.
You need to turn on your safe search.
Let's just say there's a dude that just wore spurs and sort of.
I'm pretty sure if
made some movies.
It was Haney.
Yeah. It was Haney. That's Haney's second bedroom. That's Haney's second bedroom. That's what he uses.
That's
Big Spur room.
Yeah. Why do you have boxes and one long mirror in here? I don't get it.
Nashville's a tough town. You got to open an OnlyFans, man. You got to have a studio for that now.
That'd be Haney joining JC's OnlyFans page, Phil.
Oh my dear God!
I just keep wondering who's going to be the big spoon in the scenario where you spend the night.
All right, fine. I'll
Hey,
stay at
guys,
the Airbnb.
I really enjoyed this conversation, though, guys. This is a lot of fun. This is a good time.
You're probably like, by the way, I've got a new single out today for anybody interested.
Yeah, that's right.
Dreams has nothing to do with Cox. And,
No.
well,
Hey, look.
PatrickDavisMusic.com will lead you anywhere you want to go. By the way, for anybody that obviously knows PD as the music that he puts out himself, he has been writing songs for a long, long time. A lot of them, which you have in your phones, are probably on some CDs. If you still have such a thing, click on the songwriting credits and you'll find that.
Yeah, there's a lot of those on there. That's pretty cool. I do that sometimes still. It's a pretty fun gig.
What's that?
I said writing songs for people is a fun gig.
Yeah. You know, I have one of your CDs still in my truck. It's been in there for 3 years. Never pulled it out. Every once in a while, I just click like media to go to the next thing, and it always starts playing.
What CD is it?
It is.
Yeah,
what was the last one? I can't remember the name of it. What's the last one you gave me?
I don't know. Probably might be couch covers. I think I had to make
couch covers.
Yeah, what's funny about CDs is that like they used to be like the thing, and now like you buy 1,000 of them, they're like $4. It used to be 1,000 of them were $4,000. Now they're like, listen, we'll give you the CDs. Like, will you just take them? Like, we have a warehouse full of them. We'll make them for free.
It's where does it go? That's what it is.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I made CDs in too. I will not be making any more CDs. No more CDs. Yeah, we don't. I think those days are over.
That was like 2017, 18?
Yeah, 18, somewhere in there. Yeah, and
you
it was came
to you came to ESPN and sat in the studio with me, and
they make great coasters. That's the thing I like about it.
Well, I still listen to it, so
yeah. Because it's probably stuck in your. If you still have a CD player in your car, it's probably stuck in your CD player. Like, you probably can't get it out. The button probably broke, and you're like, son of a bitch, I wanted 98 degrees in here, but instead I'm stuck with Patrick Davis. This is
somebody shove.
It's probably the other way around.
Yeah. It's 96.
And they probably lying. He probably does have 98 degrees.
That's right. Yeah.
Six minute abs.
And it's a mix. And it's a mix tape CD of all of his favorite boy bands.
Dude,
that's what
I used to crush the mix CDs back in high school.
Oh yeah.
I was the mix CD guy. Yeah. I get it. All right, we're gonna
the first iteration of the best playlist ever.
Is
that CD stuck in there.
Dude, I remember in high school, man, he used to make CDs for all the girls and stuff.
Yeah, you were. I could see you trying to slide. You're sly. You're like, listen, we're just friends. I just think this is what I think. This is what I think about when I think about you, Cindy. You know what I'm saying, girl?
Yeah. At that point in time, all the songs that were on there were like Kenny Chesney, basically, all of them.
Basically
every one of them. I go back. Yeah, every girl got it.
He's kind of a boy band. I mean, let's be honest. So there you go.
Yeah, it all worked out for him. I think he bought the Bahamas. So
yeah,
he did.
Whatever that means. He bought an island down there. I know that.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. He bought the Bahamas. He probably could afford it.
The Chesneys. Yeah. Exactly.
So, all right, guys, I really love you all. Thank you for today.
Hey,
it was amazing.
Yes.
On this weekend, I know you've probably already figured out something special to do for her, knowing you, but your mom is so sweet. Happy Mother's Day to your mom.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. That's great.
Wow.
No, my mom is.
You're
great.
awesome, dude.
She is so sweet.
She's the best.
So.
She's typical mom though. She's like, well, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I'm probably staying in Nashville because I got a weekend off. She's like, well, we're gonna have folks over to the house and have food. And I'm like, Mom, you live 8 hours from me. You know that, right? You realize that, right? You can come to my house if you want to, but I'm home for a weekend, so I will call you. We will FaceTime.
Well, enjoy that and give your mom our best. Happy Mother's Day to her and Megan, your sister, as well.
I will.
Everybody.
All right, buddy. And hey,
man, hats off. Congratulations. Killer. We'll keep playing it.
Thanks, guys. All right. Go Cox. Bye, y'all.
There you go. Patrick Davis. We'll have him back between now and football season to give us his prediction. By the way, for anybody, I'll spoil it for you. We've done this. I've done this with him since 2014. Every single year, he predicts the Gamecocks to go 12-0. So more than likely, he'll do that again in August. All right, let's take that break here, and when we return, we'll begin to wind things down on Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
What's up, Gamecock fans? This is Pitcher Noah Hall. If you want some delicious food for your event, I suggest visiting nanasporch.com today to find out what they all have to offer, It's really good Southern cuisine based out of Charlotte, my hometown. I hope you guys go check it out. Go Cox and go Nanas.
Are you looking to buy a new home? Kevin O'Connell with Union Home Mortgage is a local mortgage expert and Gamecocks fan servicing North and South Carolina. Whether you're buying a home, building your dream home with new construction, or turning your equity into cash, UHM's world-class service will ensure you find the perfect mortgage to achieve your home ownership goals. Call Kevin at 803-906-0244 or visit UHM.com today. Union Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS 2229, LONMLS 1772182.
Electric Bikes of Charleston offers the most fun you'll ever have on two wheels. The home of Ovington, Velotric, Magnum Bikes, and more, they sell to consumers all across the state and offer outstanding warranties and service after the sale. Their electric bikes are equipped with 5 levels of pedal assist plus a throttle, so you can ride longer, handle the heat better, but still get great exercise. Bikes are available for all ages and sizes. Visit electricbikescharleston.com or stop into their store in Mount Pleasant if you're in the Low Country. Electric Bikes of Charleston, powering inside the Gamecocks, the show.
Hey everyone, this is Jack Mahoney from Gamecock Baseball, and Inside the Gamecocks, the show is teed up every day by travelingcountryclub.com. So if y'all love golf, make sure you guys go check out their awesome membership options, and go Cox.
Welcome to travelingcountryclub.com, your modern golf club experience. Hey folks, this is Michael Manus, former Gamecock golfer, inviting you to play more golf with a membership to travelingcountryclub.com. With over 40 courses across the Carolinas, our membership provides you with an affordable way to enjoy a club-like golf experience. From the mountains to the coast, we offer golf courses that will challenge all types of golfers, no matter your handicap level or level of play. Plus, we offer unique membership benefits not seen anywhere else as part of Traveling Country Club. In July, we're excited to bring to you the 3rd annual Plunder on Pawleys 2-day golf tournament, with rounds played at Caledonia and True Blue golf courses in the heart of Pawleys Island. Head to travelingcountryclub.com to register for that event, and it is not exclusive to TCC members, but to become one, you can sign up and bring to life your golf game. Tee it up with Traveling Country Club, travelingcountryclub.com, travelingcountryclub.com, proud partners of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
If you're in the upstate of South Carolina and are in need of residential real estate services, Cindy Bass Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane is for you. Ask her about the Village at Creekside, all of her listings in my hometown of Spartanburg, South Carolina, right there on Daniel Morgan Avenue, married to a lifelong Gamecock fan, and many of our listeners have already bought homes from her and been 100% satisfied with the detail and care she uses. Cindy Searfoss, 864-414-5271, Caldwell Banker Kane in the upstate for your real estate needs.
Coach O here, and when I'm not eating average jambalaya or celebrating endless summer in Destin, I like to eat pimento cheese straight out the bucket. And the only pimento cheese I like to eat is from Nana's Porch. It's award-winning. It'll melt in your mouth. It's good on a cracker. It's good in a bowl. It's good on a piece of bread. Also, don't forget Nana's Porch has a hell of a food truck. It's award-winning as well, and they're here for all of your catering needs. So get online, nanasporch.com. It's good. Coach O signing off. Endless summer, go Tiger.
The preferred sign partner of Gamecock Athletics is Signorama Columbia, and they should be yours too. A full-service sign company that handles design, production, install, and service, Signorama Columbia has helped to bring to life the perfect vision for so many all across South Carolina. Owned and operated by proud Gamecock alumni, they can handle all types of signage, including interior and exterior, vehicle graphics, and more. Go to Signorama.com and find the West Columbia location, or call them at 803-407-9284. Bring your brand to life with Signorama Columbia, and go Gamecocks.
Hey man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
You know what, Phil? Let's ask Stone Blanton.
Hey, JC and Phil, if you want a solution to your IT problems, give Heritage Digital a call. Our boy Matt Odom has a low-cost, one-price solution that will get you running right. Call 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com and ask for Matt. He will hook you up today and tell them Stone sent you.
This is Cole Messina from the Yardcocks. Electric Bikes of Charleston powers Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Be sure to check them out online or in Mount Pleasant. Go Gamecocks.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, presented to you by Express Sunrims of Columbia. Give John and his team a call, 803-446-4662, on how to set up a no-obligation consultation to potentially turn your backyard into an outdoor retreat this summer.
I guess I should cut my mic on. That'd probably be a good thing. There's behind me. There, happy Mother's Day to the mom of my children. There's Carrie. So figured I'd give some type of shout out to the women in our lives on this wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And Carrie,
Happy Mother's Day to
mom.
Yes,
Okay.
Got to see her in action.
Matter of
when I was
fact,
in
that
Charleston.
that photo is from Patrick's wedding night. As a matter of fact,
yeah.
As you can see,
You
he
look
was
sort
just describing the Macklemore Club behind his. Unbelievable.
You look dapper there, man. Looks nice.
Well, you know, People Magazine took a bunch of photos while we were there, but due to some restrictions in my NIL paperwork, I could not allow them to use that. They did use Patrick and Lawrence in their column, but it's okay. Next time.
Well, next time.
Next
Definitely.
time.
Yeah, always great conversation with Patrick. I enjoy that. I can unplug my brain from sports
Exactly.
for a little bit. And
Yeah, I know
just talk about
some people
music.
probably are like, "Where's all the Gamecock stuff? I'm here for the Gamecocks." Well, he's a Gamecock, and he's one of the Gamecocks that's made it cool to be a Gamecock, and so we'll fussing around with PD is so much fun. By the way, hats off to RLE on the Boner Jams 05. That was Michael Flint's go-to. He still to this day, that's one of our running jokes in our little circle about Boner Jams 05 on the CD mixes. So yeah, I hear you. Big fan. I knew exactly what you were talking about. For those that didn't, I got you. I got your back, RLE. He's the man. You're all the man. We're the men. You're the man, Phil.
That's all right. I mean, yeah, I'm old. I'm old enough. I still call it a mixtape. So, yeah.
Man, I was the master. Me and my buddy had a mixtape battle one time. Somehow we ended up kind of chasing after the same girl. I ended up taking her to prom though. So I guess
victorious.
But it was the 90s, so there's a lot of sad songs, you know, on those mixtapes and 80s and 90s ballads. You know, they deep cuts. They do turn them on, Phil. Turn on those sad songs.
Miss Davis, you got a prom with me? I would have taken Miss Davis to prom, just as an FYI. Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
Are y'all alive? What happened to you two?
I just
you don't know anything about Boner Jam. You don't remember Miss Davis.
Freaking 10. Yeah, I know.
All I remember from that movie is I don't want your life.
That's all you remember?
I remember the whipped cream.
We's just kids.
Well, nobody forgets
We's
that.
just little kids. You know, yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, we talked about it on JC and Morgan the other week, pretty extensively. About Billy Bob and his tragic death, and
that's just sucks, man.
I was sitting there trying to think about too what CD is stuck in my car, because there is a CD in my player, and it's been in there. Oh, I don't know, for months.
And so is that why you just came up with 98 Degrees to redirect?
No. I mean, I know who Nick Lachey is just because my wife is a huge music trivia nut.
Yeah. Which one was he?
Know that.
Which one?
He was 98 Degrees. Yeah.
Oh, who was in sync? Somebody big was in sync.
Well, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Timberlake.
That's right. Okay. I always forget that. Yeah.
Who I actually admire him. I think he's.
I like Timberlake.
I think he's got talent.
For sure.
It's kind of a Michael Jackson-esque performer, and then
he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah. Really good actor. You know, I think Timberlake's pretty. Of all those people,
dude, Timberlake's the man. He's cool.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad the boy band era is behind all of us.
Yeah.
A little bit. Started. It was like New Kids on the Block were resurrected there for a while.
That's right.
Now, as long as we can keep Rascal Flatts broken up, all will
be okay. Yeah. But if I had to put money on it, I think it's Meatloaf's "Bat Out of Hell" in my player.
That's a good album.
Damn right, it's a good album.
That's epic. I mean, if you have to have one stuck, Phil,
right?
I mean, that has to. I mean, you can't get any better than that as far as that situation goes. I was thinking the other day. I think Eric, we've talked about the Eric Church story about how Taylor Swift ended up. Hey, so who's "Let's Go"? Get out. Or wait a minute, hold on.
Well,
no, maybe
that's 76.
Don't click on that.
Didn't 76 say he was getting out of here for a while?
Y'all don't click that, but I'm gonna.
76 said, "I'm taking a break, but I'm gonna spam these motherfuckers."
Did I?
Well, remember the Eric Church say Rascal Flatts kicked him off the tour, and then Taylor Swift, wasn't that true?
Yeah. 08.
And I was thinking the other day, I was like, I bet a lot of Boot Left to Fill was written about Rascal Flatts. And that's one of my favorite Eric Church songs. In fact,
I'll see Eric next month, and I'll ask him for you.
It was the intro to this podcast for a long time. I mean, so I kind of started putting two together. We're going.
Yeah, I got number 25 coming up. 25th anniversary.
We're renting the van, okay, with the ladies that we do trivia with every Tuesday night at the bar. Middle-aged Chicago women. Yeah, trivia. One of them looks like Barbara Streisand. I call her Barbara. I don't know her real name. I think it's Tony with an I, like Tony Basil. Mickey, remember that? Anyway, so we're renting a van and rolling over to the bar next to the amphitheater where we're pre-gaming. And so these ladies don't want any part of lawn seats. Okay, so it's really tricky.
Oh my
goodness.
Whoa.
Well,
yeah.
you don't sit at an Eric Church show anyways. Doesn't matter where you are. You're standing.
Yeah. Well, it was it's a lot like the Charlotte. It's really like in my part of Chicago. It's two villages over. So it's just right there. It's Tinley Park, and it's an amphitheater a lot like the one in Charlotte. And so I'm like, lawn seats, woo! But I realized looking at the rules there, you can't bring a cooler for the lawn. So that sucks. So you're going to be sitting there anyway. So we've got regular seats, but we were going to rent it, 8 to 10 person limo service, and I get to go with all these ladies and Nat, so it'll be cool. I'll be probably the only guy.
Well, you got to, whatever you do, you got to bring the heat. I punched a guy in the back of the head in Greenville one time. I didn't mean to. And my wife said, "You just hit that guy in the back of his head." I said, "We shouldn't have been standing there." We're in the pit, you idiot. And now is not the time for movie quotes. I said, it's always a good time for movie quotes, Carrie. I've had enough of you. It was me and Harley Lale. Y'all remember Harley, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me and Harley, he hit me and I hit that guy. I didn't mean to. Anyways, it all worked out.
Just the way things go. It's all
well,
right.
I mean, look, you gotta, it's when you're in the pit at a Chief concert, there's an area. Everybody gets an area. You step in the area, you get punched in the head. I mean, it's
violating my area.
It's like being on an airplane, middle seat gets the arm rest and a little bit of leg room.
Yeah.
But we live in a society, people.
If you're interested, the Jonas Brothers are actually coming to Wrigley Field. I just got an email from the Cubs about it. So
how about
tickets are on sale today?
How about new?
Let's reach out to our number one fan.
If I didn't go see Guns N' Roses and Smashing Pumpkins at Wrigley Field,
they were together.
Smashing Pumpkins is a Chicago band, and so they jumped on the tour with GNR for Milwaukee, Chicago, and St. Louis, and that would have been. I think we were out of town. I think we were on vacation or something. I think we had a beach trip or something during the time. So anyway, do we have? I guess are we just going to blow through the other break? I mean, I guess so.
Just blow it off. Blow it off. It's fine.
We'll make it up to you.
We'll make it up.
We love you guys. We had a celebrity on
today. We'll make it up next.
We had 2 celebrities on today. We just had to bump you. But
that's
fine. 76, man. It's Friday. Man, just chill out. It's all good. The chat box gets a little iffy when we have heavy guests, and we just had the opportunity to get Patrick on today, and Stuart Lake, and it would have been what if we had Patrick Stewart too? Stuart Lake, Patrick Davis, and Patrick Stewart. Jean-Luc Picard.
By the way, Quick little nugget, weekend nugget here, in addition to your baseball and hopefully extended softball viewing, if you'll be doing so. Your man, Alex Jones with the Big Spur, did write a column on this. I'm glad he did. Tomorrow is the 2023 XFL championship. DJ Swearinger is going to be playing in the game. So kickoff is at 8 o'clock tomorrow night for anybody that wants to watch DJ Swearinger playing the XFL championship. He hate me.
He should have, yeah. He hate me actually was not that physical of a player.
No,
I do think that DJ would be a great he hate me.
Yeah.
That was good. I need to get a he hate me jersey. Where can I get one of those?
If you do,
they'll misspell he.
Check
hate.
the
HAIT. He hate me.
He hat me. He had me.
Or he ate me. Either one.
He ate me. That's even better. He ate me.
Speaking of whipped cream.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
Man.
I wonder if Swearinger is can parlay his Reef Defender season here with actually getting that last year in the NFL so he can get all of his full benefits.
I don't know. I probably not.
Probably not either. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, but
yeah, he would receive a lifetime pension, but more than likely that won't happen. But nonetheless, he's done a pretty good job for himself over the years. And there's my final goodbye to everybody on Mother's Day weekend. That's my mom. One of my kids when she was just a little girl, but happy Mother's Day to my mom as well, who is a wonderful, wonderful woman. And JC, happy Mother's Day to your mom, and Phil, happy Mother's Day to your mom, and
Nat,
and Nat,
and my grandmother Doris, and Nat's mother Vara. It's her world. Everybody's just living in it. It's going to rain all weekend, so I'm probably going to have to cut her grass again this week. But I don't. Pork toast out of it, which is good, delicious.
It's trying.
Yeah,
I know.
Just, shout out to all the moms. I'll tell you this: my mother been with me every step of the way through my entire career. No matter what's happened to me, she's always been there. I'm her oldest of four. I don't know. I mean, God bless her. Actually, 7, 8 now, because my stepfather had 3 boys, and now she's got a little girl that she's raising. But she's a saint, and I just. Heck, I may not have had the best job, may not have had always the best friends, although I do think I have really good friends. May not have had other parts of my family situation that were great, but I do have a wonderful mother, and I think that's a blessing.
Well, hopefully she enjoys this wonderful, wonderful weekend, and all of you who have been with us today and are with us every day. Happy Mother's Day weekend to your mothers and your brides, to your daughters, their moms, grandmothers, everybody in between. Have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. Hopefully, Gamecock baseball and Gamecock softball can bring some good mojo into Gamecock country this weekend, as they are both in Arkansas, and both will be playing today. It would be neat to see the Palmetto State take over there, so we'll see what happens with that. Thanks to Patrick Davis and Stuart Lake, two exceptional human beings and wonderful guests, for joining us today on our program. If you happen to miss any part of that, go back and check it out. Real quick, for anybody that's still listening, we know a lot of you are, a little programming note: next week's guest in our brand new series, the Born to Crow series, with Michael Haney, none other than Landon Powell, who will be looking to lead North Greenville to their second consecutive Division II national championship. Gamecock fans know him for his time with Gamecock baseball, and he is very excited to join us next week. We're going to pin down that day and time, but look forward to that, and hopefully it's some good stuff to talk about with Carolina baseball in that conversation. So for Classic Phil and JC Crystal Ball Schubert, who has just vanished on us, we hope you have a wonderful and a magnificent Mother's Day weekend. We look forward to seeing you on Monday morning at 11 o'clock. We are painted garnet and black by a couple of painters LetMePaintSomething.com. Tristan and his wife, new parents, happy Mother's Day to her. And we'll see y'all on Monday on Inside the Gamecocks, the show built by the Barndo Company and live, of course, from the Sinorama Studios.